Hello everyone and welcome back to our YouTube series. Today it's the Glorious 12th, which marks the first day of the game season, and we're here on one of our grouse butts at Hornsbury, and I'm going to go through my top 5 tips. So tip number 1 is practice. There are many shooting schools around and shooting grounds in the country, but obviously practicing in the right environment with the right targets that emulate grouse. Here at Hornsbury we are really lucky to have 3 grouse butt, all with oscillating targets on one stand that we always have a target that can be shot behind as well. There are obviously varying degrees of speed, and obviously that does depend on the type of season. If it's a hot day like it is today, the birds might be reasonably lethargic and not so quick. However, on a very windy, gale force, rainy day, the birds will be travelling a lot quicker. One of the big things that obviously it can be a struggle at shooting schools is to have a target coming low at you, because ordinarily the wrong person walking onto the stand to practice, the shrapnel of the clay is obviously quite dangerous. So on certain lessons that are more extreme than other lessons, we will actually adjust the traps and then set them back when we leave the stand. Very important, whether you're on the real thing or on clays, that you always do need to wear hats and decent glasses. Practice can be by yourself or with an instructor, and what I'd say is it is quite important to have that lesson with an instructor that has actually experienced and been on a grouse moor, that really understands the flight of a bird and can talk you through, if it's your first time, the importance of safety, how butt sticks work. Obviously these are big agricultural ones that we've got in one position, and how the horn system works with when you stop shooting in front and then when you're shooting behind. So it is a very, very different sport when you've been driven shooting and everyone talks about the importance of safety and where the gun starts with beaters. With grouse, it defies all of that, because effectively up until the horn you are shooting out low, out in front, and a lot of people do struggle with the concept of perceived lead and shooting at targets that are so low in front of you. So having a good instructor that you can trust, that can teach you and talk you through what you're going to be experiencing. And taking it a little step further with that, and today it's a very, very bright day and I've got very dark glasses out on the grouse moors. It is important to have the right colour lenses. It can be quite a dark day, and you need to be able to be picking the grouse up amongst the heather because they're flying very low. So having a good set of 2 or 3 shooting lenses, which you can put brighter lenses on a dark day. And also they are there for the safety of the possibility of another member of the team swinging through the line, okay, which sadly can happen. So safety, having decent glasses, eye and ear protection is a very big tip as well. If you do want more information on glasses, then please look at our previous YouTube video which Tom did, going through the range of pillar glasses which I've got on my head. So tip number 2 is make sure that your gun has been thoroughly serviced, and or pair of guns serviced. And it may be that it's a modern gun that hasn't had a huge amount of use, but there's nothing worse than going on to an incredible day on the moors a long way from home and finding that your gun breaks down on the first drive. So tip number 3 is stocking up on the correct cartridges that you feel comfortable with. Here at Hornsbury we have designed a 29 gram 5.5 shot diamond shot with game bore, and they've been a fantastic cartridges for both old-fashioned English side-by-sides to obviously over and under, being a 65mm case with a short brass to prevent any swelling, to ensure decent extraction. We have also got some very exciting cartridges with the quad seal system, which are heavier and more for pheasant shooting, which we've got arriving very shortly. So being comfortable with your cartridge is really important. If you have any questions with any of the cartridges, then please call the office, and you'll have to speak to myself or Tom, my grounds manager, or Chris, the gunroom manager, and we can talk you through what we'd recommend. So tip number 4 is arrive at your grouse butt, establish your surroundings, where the flankers are, where your fellow colleagues are shooting, where the picker-uppers are, and make sure that you're at home with your environment. Grouse butt markers are a small version, which are a sort of 1 metre by 1 metre, or maybe just half of that. Sticks that could be like that on a hinge which fold away, or they could be literally just a stick that you put in the ground. But what you've got to think of is, with excitement, if you're going forward into the butt, working it to its full potential. If you look, there's nothing in the gun here. I'm standing right forward, and if I'm stood right forward, how far could I reach? And you need to be knowing that when you're at that position, there's no way that you're shooting to your neighbour next door. So if you feel with excitement you're going to stretch round further, then you need to bring this bar further forward to prevent, so that psychologically you know that that gun stops when you get there, so you're not swinging through the line. So really, really essential, the placement of your butt markers. So once you've established your environment, i.e. your flanker to the side, the rest of your line, you've obviously established where your butt markers are going. You've then got to look behind you and again work out what's going on behind and who's around you. So tip number 5 is having shot your first shot in front, okay, and then pivoting round out the back. It's very easy to continue on your back foot, okay, and the undulation of the landscape, typically the grouse follow it. So you've got to transfer that weight right forward over your hips onto the front foot, making sure your head stays connected with the gun at all times. It's very easy for people to still be 50-50 or a bit on the back foot, having rotated round, and the grouse to be following the undulation of the landscape, and you're then straight over the top of it. So really, really important, moving your feet round appropriately and keeping the gun connected and weight forward. I could give 100 tips on how to shoot grouse. Everyone's situation is different. This is a very broad spectrum of tips, but what I can't stress enough is to do go and practice, do find an instructor that you're comfortable with, and preferably that has experience and has shot on the moors. Enjoy, it's one of the most incredible privilege to be invited on a moor, and going there unprepared, in my opinion, is a complete waste of time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you shortly.